Get ready to ditch the blue recycling bags in favor of those big new bins. Good evening and thank you for joining us. In the dying days of Thunder Bay's Blue Bag program, residents and collection workers alike are preparing to make the switch to the recycling bins. The new program starts next week. Lee Noonan recently spoke to the city's solid waste and recycling manager. She joins us now in studio. Lee.
Thank you, Ryan. The very last blue bags were collected today, and it's finally time to start filling up those new bins that have been taking up space in people's driveways and garages for weeks now. Thunder Bay residents have set their blue bags to the curb for the last time. Starting next Tuesday, Recycling Day is going to look pretty different.
I almost say it's bittersweet in a sense that we've been on a blue bag program since inception, right?
Despite a little sadness at saying goodbye to the blue bags, Jason Sherband, the city's manager of solid waste and recycling, says automated cart collection is the way of the future, and he's excited about the change.
From a worker perspective, obviously, you take the manual and physical labor out of it. And obviously, residents don't have to purchase bags anymore. Over the years, we've always heard people that, didn't like the aspect of doing that, so that takes that out of it. And I think it's just cleaner, and I think once people start using these bins and getting used to them, I think people will be excited.
Kim Scholand is one of those residents who never liked using the bags and took her recyclables to the local depots instead, like this one on Mountvale Avenue.
I'm pretty excited because I've always brought my recycling here and done it myself. I just didn't trust that they were getting put in the right spot. I just thought someone was dumping them. I hear rumors, and then again, it's a plastic bag you have to get in.
With the bins, it's still important not to contaminate the recycled materials with garbage or food waste, and Sherband hopes the city has done a good job of educating the public on what's safe to toss in the recycling.
There's obviously no more bags after this month, and don't be putting the material in bags and putting those bags in the bins. So we just want to make sure no bags. And I just encourage people to have patience. I think for the first few weeks, this is new to the staff that are doing the work as well as residents.
For anyone who has mobility or accessibility concerns about switching from bags to the large bins, Sherband says to reach out directly to Circular Materials or GFL, which have committed to working with residents to find solutions. Lee Noonan, TBT News.
The Grand Chiefs of Nan and Treaty 3 are calling for full accountability in the SIU probe into the death of Bruce Frog in Kenora. The 55-year-old Indigenous man from Wawakapiwin First Nation was shot and killed by an OPP officer on Tuesday. The SIU says Frog lit a building at Anishinaabe Park on fire and then waved large knives at police officers before he was shot. The media release from Nan and Treaty 3 calls it a tragedy that sent shockwaves through many First Nation communities. The Grand Chiefs say SIU probes are often narrow in scope. They want a full accounting of exactly what happened and insist they'll hold the appropriate people and agencies accountable for their actions. Well, this as the province's Special Investigations Unit has announced that no criminal offence was committed by a Thunder Bay police officer who shot a man with foam bullets back in March. The SIU was called in to investigate the incident, which happened on March 1st outside a business in the Thunder Centre. Police received reports of a 43-year-old man who appeared to have a gun. The officer shot 5 foam munitions after the man refused to drop what turned out to be an airsoft pistol. The SIU determined the officer had no way of knowing it wasn't a lethal weapon and was justified in their actions. Business owners in the downtown North Core continue to voice frustration about the city's parking changes. Last week, City Council voted to reduce the minimum cost for parking meters to 50 cents for 15 minutes. In the face of outcry from both the public and businesses. But restaurant owners and others still feel the changes are negatively affecting them. Nev Van Pelt explains.
The parking changes implemented on June 1st are continuing to cause headaches for downtown business owners. Up until June 1st, parking enforcement would run from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday to Friday, but now runs from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. Monday to Saturday. Business owners are very frustrated and say these changes are giving people too many reasons to shop or dine elsewhere.
Discouraging people to come downtown and go to the restaurants, and this is the nightlife center of the city, And I think the concern is if people are being ticketed till 9 p.m. and then they're being ticketed at 7 a.m., this could encourage people to drink and drive. You know, they're not going to want to leave their cars downtown anymore, or they just don't come at all.
There was a public survey regarding many of the proposed parking changes. The owner of 4 local restaurants, Bianca Garofalo, says from their understanding, the majority of Thunder Bay residents were not in favor of the changes, and she voiced her concern about the overall process.
The business community itself was not called into any sort of stakeholder meetings or consultations with city councillors ahead of time, and I think that research would have been extremely important and would have had a bigger impact on their decision if they had heard our many concerns.
An online petition to add 15 and 30-minute parking options was signed by over 1,900 people, and City Council quickly made the decision to incorporate these new rates. However, the new hours are the biggest concern for businesses, as it also affects their staff.
For the most part, these are restaurant positions and retail positions. They're minimum wage jobs. They don't pay a lot, and they have a huge impact on the affordability of the people that work for us.
Goods & Co. owner Malin Hurley says they'll be reaching out to council members over the next few weeks. And as a business community, they plan to present a deputation to council at the end of July.
There's so much being invested down here in terms of the construction and redoing our streets, and it'll be pretty sad if there's no businesses to showcase when that's all done.
Both business owners said they'd like to see the city reopen this issue and believe if they work with them rather than putting obstacles in their way, the long-term effects will benefit both sides. Nev Van Pelt, TBT News.
Fort William First Nation was the site for a celebration this morning. Chimo Owin opened its doors on an empty place, and there are big plans for the future. The company is owned by a coalition of 7 First Nations to help Indigenous people find work on the Waasigan transmission line. It's described as a win for both the communities having their members trained and the project, which will receive another source of skilled labor. CEO Peter Collins says they'll train people to fit into every role needed for the $1.2 billion project.
The training we're embarking on is heavy equipment, mechanical harvesting, camp cooks, surveyors, environmental people, whatever it needs to be to get the project completed in a good way.
It opens the opportunities for employment opportunities, training, capacity building. These type of projects certainly provide that right from administration into trades. This certainly will provide those opportunities to our First Nation members.
Each course will have different admission requirements, and Chimo Owin officials say they'll help First Nation community members meet those requirements. LCBO stores could close their doors for 14 days if a deal isn't reached with workers by July 5th. And the Crown Corporation is warning that after the 14 days, only 30 of the nearly 670 stores it operates would be open for in-store shopping. CTV's John Musselman has the story.
While negotiations continue, a strike is looming at the province's LCBO outlets. OPSU, the unit representing 10,000 employees, will be in a legal strike position at 12:01 a.m. on Friday, July the 5th. The LCBO is offering extended hours leading up to a potential strike. It is opening earlier and staying open as late as 10 p.m. to give customers more time to stock up for the Canada Day long weekend. We spoke to people about a possible strike.
It's definitely going to affect the alcohol purchasing habits because LCBO is the only store where you can get the hard liquor.
You can still grab a cold one then, I guess, right? But I mean, it doesn't really matter for like if the LCBO goes on strike. I feel like a lot of Canadians would be upset about it.
Yeah, I think it's a little unfortunate. It's the summertime, right? So I think we all come here for the same reason, to have fun outside. The weather's getting better, so.
Here's a look at how the LCBO plans to deal with a strike. Retail locations will close for a period of 14 days. On Friday, July 19th, after the 14 days, 30 LCBO retail stores will begin to open for in-store shopping. They will operate 3 days a week, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, with limited hours in effect. The LCBO says it will continue to fulfill wholesale orders even while stores are closed for 14 days. The union says it's fighting for higher wages. It is also opposed to expanded alcohol sales in convenience stores. John Musselman, CTV News.
The decision to abruptly close the Ontario Science Centre continues to dog the Ford government. The latest criticism comes from the architects with the firm that designed the building. And as CTV's John Woodward tells us, the issue is also front and centre at Toronto City Hall.
Unfortunately, this building has been allowed to lapse into disrepair.
A sad assessment of the Ontario Science Centre by an architect with the same firm as the building's famous designer Raymond Moriyama. But Brian Rudy insists the dire conditions of some of the roof panels aren't so bad the building needs to be fenced off and shut down.
Those panels can be very easily repaired, cordoned off where they are an issue, and the public can be completely protected and safe.
The Science Centre closed with just hours' notice a week ago, the provincial government saying its roof was a safety hazard. The jarring decision prompting millions of dollars in pledges to save it and thousands of signatures in letters to political leaders.
My office have received huge number just this week. 14,000 letters.
Over at Toronto City Council, optimism the city could step in was tempered by some sobering figures.
This building needs a total of around $370 million. Only. Over the next 5 years, the building needs $164 million.
City Council voted to explore its options, including the building's lease, heritage designation, and their agreements with the province.
The exhibition spaces, the vast majority of them are completely safe.
The firm still bearing Moriyama's name among several offering its services to repair the building for free. John Woodward, CTV News.
For the 10th straight month, the Thunder Bay 50-50 draw has made someone a millionaire. This time it was Dave Ireton of Perth, Ontario, who got the call today that he'd won more than $1.3 million.
Well, I have some good news for you.
I knew you were going to yes. You're kidding.
I'm not kidding, Dave. I have some great news for you.
How much?
How much? $1,346,462.
You're joking.
Hey, I wouldn't joke about that amount of money.
That is incredible.
Ireton plans to invest the money for his 2 kids. June's jackpot means the Thunder Bay 50-50 has awarded more than $42 million in prizes across Ontario. Tickets are already on sale for the July draw. Well, the Hill City Kinsmen pulled the winning tickets today for their annual Sportsman's Dream Draw. The top prize package included a fishing boat and a side-by-side valued at more than $33,000.
The grand prize winner of the boat and the side-by-side is Manish Agarwal.
You are the winner of this year's Dream Draw of the side-by-side and the boat and motor package.
You're lying to me right now.
I'm not lying to you.
You heard it there. Manish Agarwal takes home the 14.5-foot boat, which comes with a Yamaha outboard motor, a trailer, and a side-by-side to tow it. Dream Draw organizers say it's a package that can upgrade anyone's summer. More than 4,000 tickets were purchased, with the proceeds going to the Wilderness Discovery Centre, the George Jeffrey Children's Foundation, and Our Kids Count. Draw co-chair Wes Case says they appreciate the community's support.
This year was down a little bit. I think just kind of a tough year on people, but we've sold out in the past 3 years. But this year we ended up having a really good push at the end and sold about 80%. And I know a lot of the community members, when we reached out and said we were down in sales, they stepped up and supported us and supported the community.
Funny enough, this was the second raffle won by Agarwal this year. Back in April, he was the co-winner of the Save a Heart raffle, which also carried the prize of a brand new side-by-side. Well, summer vacation has kicked off for local elementary students who celebrated their last day of school today. There's plenty to be excited for, with some students taking part in school talent shows and other engaging activities. TBT News summer intern Holden Dougal has the story.
Local students sent off their school year with a bang. Kids here in Thunder Bay got together for end-of-year activities for their last day of school on Friday. That included Ecole Elsie McGill, which celebrated with an assembly featuring performances from the students. It was the first year at the school for Principal Erin Alward, who talked about what she hopes the students took away from the experience.
We've done quite a few school-wide events, carnivals, outside play days, that sort of thing. Our whole goal kind of being that sense of LC McGill becoming a community of learners.
For grade 8 students, I'll be heading to high school in the fall. The day was bittersweet, but an important one to reflect on the great times had at LC McGill.
I enjoyed going on our grade 8 trip. That was a lot of fun. And now I'm a little bit nervous because there's going to be a lot of new people, but I'm excited.
Little ways to flirt and glance. I'll show you what shoes.
Meanwhile, St. Francis School celebrated its last day with a talent show. Many students showcased their singing and dancing skills while reflecting on what made the year so special.
Probably during graduation when I got the athletics award.
Mine was hanging out with my friends every day.
Many classes also enjoyed drawing and coloring on their last day.
When you teach 150 kids a year and you do the math, that's a lot of students.
For St. Francis, Principal Anita Tresh, it was her last day of school, as she was retiring after nearly 4 decades of education.
Having been educating for so long, I've had the opportunity to have probably 2 different generations, and I see them all over the city. I have staff here that work with me that I've taught as students. Many teachers, IT personnel that were my students at Bishop Gallagher School because I was there for 22 years.
Kids here in Thunder Bay have had a really successful school year, and they're looking forward to a really nice summer and continuing their learning path in the fall. Owen Dougal, TUT News.
Well, not exactly a great day weather-wise for the first day of summer vacation, Fiona. I'm sure a lot of the kids are hoping that this weekend is a little better for them.
Well, I mean, you've got 3 days to work with, so there's got to be some improvement. Exactly. And now, we had a lot of rain, and it's been affecting the region. It's because it's a huge system. Here in the city of Thunder Bay, we started out with a low of 9, warmed up to 14. That's with light rain starting at about 7 a.m. Hasn't really stopped. If we take a look at the system as a whole, it's huge. It's affected everybody. Now, for Thunder Bay, it looks like we're kind of at the tail end of this portion of it, but as you can see, there is more to come. Across the region, we've had rain all day in Red Lake. Fort Francis had rain. They've started to see that taper off, and now they're dealing with a lot of fog in the area. Greenstone had light rain to heavy rain at times, really being pummeled pretty hard. Temperature-wise, fairly consistent for a large portion, ranging from about 12, 13, maybe 14 Celsius. But as you head a little bit further south, Fort Francis actually managing to top out at 19 a couple of hours ago. Right now they're sitting at 18. Grand Portage also at 19. Along the North Shore, definitely a little bit cooler. Nipigon, Armstrong, Greenstone, all at that 12 range. Warms up to 17 in Wawa. Sault Ste. Marie had mainly cloudy skies. The rain just reached them about 2 to 3 hours ago. So it's working its way through, but it's covering a vast region. Here in the city of Thunder Bay, we are going to drop down to a low of 10. We'll see showers off and on overnight, but also some fog patches and a risk of a thunderstorm, but winds are going to taper off again. They'll be coming from the north, but very light, just 5 to 10 kilometers per hour. And as we head into your long weekend, this is where the important information comes, so pay attention. The rain should wrap up for Thunder Bay and many areas on Saturday. Here in Thunder Bay, it should be on Saturday afternoon. Sunday is looking sunny and seasonal, and Canada Day should be comfortable. A little bit of alliteration, see how I did that? So things are actually looking pretty good for long weekend plans. You just have to get through the first little bit.
Well, a comfortable Canada Day, we will take that for sure.
That's always a good thing.
It is always a good thing. All right, thanks a lot, Fiona. Well, when we return, we'll turn our attention to U.S. politics. President Joe Biden and former President Donald Trump are back on the campaign trail today after last night's CNN debate. A lot of concern among Democrats after what's widely considered to be a disastrous performance from Biden last night. We'll have the details on that and more when your Friday News Hour continues right after the break.
How many billions of dollars do you owe in civil penalties for molesting a woman in public?
But when he talks about a convicted felon, his son is a convicted felon.